In a dramatic and touching episode Tuesday, March 18/2025, The Young and the Restless has taken viewers on a tense journey, with complicated family relationships, difficult decisions, and constant revelations of dark truths. One of the most prominent situations in recent episodes has been the rescue of Phyllis Summers, who has been kidnapped and held captive for a long time. Phyllis's health is in serious danger, and everyone around her is facing the painful truth of what she has been through. Alan Laurent Martin, a character with overreactions while Billy Abbott is worried and heartbroken for not being able to rescue Phyllis sooner. Alan Laurent, aka Martin, has overreacted when faced with Tracy's questions. Martin has always tried to keep the secrets he has hidden, but in the face of Tracy's determination, he cannot keep his cool. Tracy is not only a family member but also a person determined to find the truth. She constantly tries to clarify every issue, even though she knows that this can lead to tense conflicts. Alan, with his mysterious past and complicated relationship with the members of the Abbott family, especially Tracy, does not easily accept her straightforward questions. His overreactions only raise suspicion and anxiety in Tracy's heart, as well as the Abbott family. Every word of Alan has a layer of meaning that Tracy gradually realizes. Billy Abbott and Phyllis, a late apology. On the other hand, in an emotional situation, Billy Abbott is asking for Phyllis's forgiveness. Her health is getting worse due to the effects of being imprisoned for too long, and Phyllis is facing a serious physical condition, almost comatose. Billy, who had always blamed himself for not being able to rescue Phyllis in time, could not contain his emotions. He sobbed, feeling that he had missed the chance to save Phyllis's life and could only watch her in critical condition. Although Phyllis could not hear Billy's apology, these regretful and emotional words still made the audience feel the extreme pain that Billy was going through. He felt deeply guilty for not standing up to protect Phyllis sooner, and this guilt prevented him from escaping his psychological spiral. Each of Billy's tears was a plea, a regret that could not be expressed in words, but was expressed through actions. Sally Spectra, worry and caution. Billy not only had to face his own suffering, but also had to share every development of Phyllis's rescue with Sally Spectra. Sally, with her experience, immediately realized that Billy might be falling into a trap. She worries about his safety and advises Billy to be more careful in his next actions. However, Billy insists that he must be the one to protect Phyllis, even though he understands that this is not the job of an individual but the job of the police. But his feelings and concern for Phyllis make it impossible for Billy to stay out of the game. Sally is aware of Billy's determination, but she also understands that in this world full of tricks and cunning plans, Billy cannot simply act on his feelings and needs the help of the police force to investigate and find the kidnapper. She constantly warns Billy about the potential danger, but his insistence makes her unable to stop him. Phyllis, Sharon's revelation and salvation. When Phyllis wakes up, she is greeted by Summer Newman and Daniel Romalotti Jr. at GCAC. It was an emotional moment, as Phyllis, despite being weak and frail, was able to eat a small sandwich, marking her return after a long period of captivity. However, what brought the most relief was Phyllis's revelation of what had happened during that time. She recounted the details of her captivity, including how Sharon Newman had saved her life in a very dangerous situation. Sharon, one of Phyllis's closest friends, was not only the one who saved her, but also the one who helped Phyllis in her desperate moments. Sharon performed CPR on Phyllis when she was almost unconscious, and this not only saved Phyllis's life but also strengthened the bond between the two women. Sharon later shared this life-saving experience with Nick Newman at the cafe, which moved Nick deeply. Phyllis, despite her weakened state, manages to keep her spirits up and relay important facts about the kidnapper. She reveals that the kidnapper not only has clear motives but also has extensive knowledge of psychology, which makes everyone even more concerned about his danger. The kidnapper, though still unidentified, appears to have a deep understanding of psychology and is able to manipulate his victims with great skill. He knows how to create feelings of anxiety and fear and easily controls Phyllis's psychology during the long period of her captivity. People, especially the police, begin to realize that this kidnapper is not a random criminal, but a very strategic person with a deep understanding of how to influence the human psyche. This makes people even more confused and suspicious about the kidnapper's true motives, and raises the question of whether he is still watching their every move. The plot surrounding the kidnapping of Phyllis Summers has stirred up strong emotions, from Alan Lawrence's overreaction to Billy Abbott's remorse, along with important revelations from Phyllis about the kidnapper. Family and friendship relationships become more complicated as each person faces inevitable truths. This story is not just about rescue, but also about self-discovery, forgiveness, and unrevealed secrets. In a tense and emotional episode, The Young and the Restless continues to bring audiences a compelling story revolving around Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers facing difficult and dangerous challenges. While Chance Chancellor's team investigates the kidnapping, old secrets are gradually revealed, making the relationships between the characters more complicated and dramatic. Sharon and Phyllis, the demons of the past from the beginning. Sharon had a deep conversation with herself about the hardships she has gone through. She compared this challenge to an exorcism, a difficult psychological journey she faced when facing her past. Sharon confesses that she tried to deal with her past demons with Phyllis, and this was the darkest moment of her life. The imprisonment and harsh conditions that Phyllis and Sharon faced were not only a physical ordeal, but also a haunting internal struggle. Sharon constantly questioned herself about what she had done in the past, about her mistakes and how the events in her life had shaped her. But besides that, Sharon also knew that she had to overcome her fears, had to deal with those sufferings in order to move forward. Facing Phyllis in that situation revived deep emotions that Sharon had experienced in the past, and whether she wanted it or not, these secrets would always haunt her. Chance and the new clue. While Sharon tried to heal her soul, Chance Chancellor and his support team continued their intense investigation. They found a room where Sharon and Phyllis had been held captive for a long time. While searching the room, Chance discovered an important clue. A remote control device was attached to a gas pipe, and from there, Chance began to piece together the clues. Soon, Chance was able to trace the source of the device. He discovered that it had been purchased at a hardware store near Havenhurst. This was a major step in finding out who was behind the kidnapping. This not only gave Phyllis and Sharon hope, but also raised questions about the kidnapper's true motives. Chance couldn't help but wonder if someone was pulling the strings behind the scenes, or if this was just a simple crime. As soon as Chance revealed this important discovery to Nick Newman and Sharon, he suggested that they review the security footage from the hardware store. It wasn't an easy decision, but they knew that every bit of information was valuable. They all reviewed the footage together, hoping to spot a strange figure or a clue that might help them find their kidnapper. However, as Chance thought about what Sharon had been through, he cautiously suggested that Sharon leave town for a while. He understood that the amount of pain and stress she had been through could be exhausting. Sharon had endured a long ordeal while in captivity, and what she had been through was not only a physical ordeal but also a mental one. He didn't think anyone could blame her if she needed time to recover. Chance's suggestions didn't make Sharon feel burdened, but on the contrary, they made her realize that maybe it was time for her to take a break from life. When Nick heard these words from Chance, he didn't hesitate to agree. He understood that Sharon needed to go away to regain balance in her life, and that her going to visit Noah in Europe could be a good opportunity for her to calm down and start over. He thought that having Faith Newman come along would help Sharon feel more comfortable and safe on that trip. Surprisingly, Sharon agreed, but not in the way Nick had imagined. She suggested that if Nick went, she would join him on the trip. This was an unexpected request, and it surprised Nick. He couldn't believe that Sharon would want him to come along, but this request made him realize how important it was for them to be together right now. Nick knew that when Sharon needed emotional support the most, he couldn't stand aside. A big change in relationship when Sharon and Nick decide to go on a trip together. It is not just a simple trip, but an important milestone in their relationship. After everything that has happened, they realize that their feelings are still intact, and sometimes, time and space can help them heal their wounds. Sharon not only needs Nick's comfort, but she also needs his support to face the pain that has not yet ended. Wherever they go, they both understand that each other's presence is the most important thing. This also raises questions about the future of their relationship. Will Sharon and Nick have a chance to start over after this trip, a new chapter in their lives? Can Nick's support help Sharon overcome the psychological trauma she has suffered? The answer will gradually be revealed as they enter this new phase. The trip to Europe is not only a temporary escape for Sharon, but also an opportunity for her to find herself. This is a major change not only in Sharon's life but also in her relationship with Nick. The events surrounding this incident not only highlight the complexities of relationships but also bring a profound message about love, forgiveness and healing. Sharon and Nick's story will continue to be a notable theme in the upcoming episodes of The Young and the Restless. In the recent episodes of The Young and the Restless, the story between Billy Abbott and Phyllis Summers has taken the audience through a series of strong emotions and dramatic plot points. After all the hardships that Phyllis has faced, from being kidnapped to recovering physically and mentally, she finds herself facing a major turning point in her life. And this is not only related to the pain of the past but also the complicated relationships, especially with Billy, for whom she has always had deep feelings. After being rescued and having time to recover, Phyllis returns to Billy's house with mixed feelings. However, what she feels most needed right now is not rest or care from her family, but work. Phyllis begs Billy to give her a chance to join the job at Abbott Communications. It's a tall order, but for Phyllis, returning to work is the way to help her overcome the emotional pain she's been experiencing. She finds solace in work, and work may be the key to regaining her lost confidence. Billy, while he loves Phyllis and wants her to recover, feels that Phyllis needs more time to recover. He worries that she'll be overwhelmed if she returns to work too soon, especially when she's still trying to find herself after everything. Phyllis, however, disagrees. She believes that work is the only thing that will make her feel valued, that she can get back on her feet. And that's the difference between the two of them in this situation. Billy wants to protect Phyllis, while she wants to face the challenge of recovery. But there are more than just differences of opinion between Billy and Phyllis, there are also unresolved misunderstandings. Billy, during the tense months when Phyllis disappeared, felt abandoned. He felt that Phyllis had abandoned him and no longer cared about him, leaving him feeling lonely and left behind. This created an invisible distance between them, even though their feelings for each other remained intact. However, when Phyllis returned and asked for a job at Abbott Communications, Billy could not help but admit that he had been hurt and that he had not included her in the press release about her rescue, which only added to the sense of abandonment he felt. Billy's apology, a profound expression of affection and regret, is a pivotal moment in the story. He realizes that his silence and thoughtless actions have hurt Phyllis. When Billy sincerely apologized and asked for forgiveness, he not only wanted to heal the wounds in their relationship, but also wanted to let Phyllis know that he was there for her. He also realized that the omission in the press release was a manifestation of his feelings of abandonment that he could not control at the time. When Billy apologized, Phyllis not only felt the sincerity in his words but also saw a change in the way he viewed their relationship. After all the pain and hardship, Phyllis felt that forgiveness was the only way for both of them to move forward. Phyllis, with her generous heart, forgave Billy immediately. Especially since he had helped her through the difficult and challenging rescue. Billy's apologies opened the door for healing in their relationship, and Phyllis also understood that Billy had been under a lot of pressure during this time. This moment is not only the end of a mental struggle, but also the beginning of a new chapter in their love story. Phyllis, in love and understanding, pulled Billy into her arms, and it was a sweet moment that the audience could not help but feel touched. This was an important milestone in their relationship, when they both realized that they could overcome any difficulty if they stood together. The relationship between Phyllis and Billy, after all the trials and misunderstandings, was finally healed. Phyllis, despite a long period of imprisonment and mental anguish, found liberation in work and love. She needed not only Billy's forgiveness, but also his understanding and support in her weakest moments. Billy's apology and Phyllis's forgiveness mark a rebirth in their relationship and show that despite their struggles, they can still stand together. In a tense and suspicious episode, The Young and the Restless continues to take viewers on a complicated journey of secrets, intrigue, and intertwined situations between the main characters. The relationship between Tracy and Alan, aka Martin Laurent, is gradually becoming questionable and tense, as Tracy begins to suspect Alan's actions, especially when she accidentally discovers strange signs related to his phone. Things quickly become confusing as Tracy discovers hidden secrets in Alan's life, forcing her to ask many questions that Alan cannot answer directly. Tracy and the mysterious phone. This situation begins when Tracy accidentally notices something strange with Alan's phone. She cannot help but notice a strange sound coming from this device, as if something is wrong. Tracy, who has always been a thoughtful and meticulous person, cannot ignore this detail. She wanted to find out if Alan's phone was having any problems, and if there was some security breach he was hiding. However, Alan couldn't help but notice Tracy's actions. When he noticed Tracy holding his phone and examining it closely, he tensed up and quickly asked her to explain. Tracy, aware of Alan's tension, quickly apologized for intruding on his privacy. However, she also explained that she was just concerned about the strange sound the phone was making, which made her feel uneasy. She also couldn't help but notice some unusual signs in the way Alan reacted, which raised her growing suspicions about what he was hiding. Alan's strange messages and actions. When Tracy continued to talk about a strange message she had discovered, one that seemed to be a security breach, Alan reacted strongly. He tried to stay calm but became confused and began to give conflicting explanations. Alan explained that his phone might have been hacked, and that there was nothing he could have done to control the situation. Although he tried to come up with a plausible explanation for the strange signs, his actions only made Tracy more suspicious. Instead of clarifying the matter, Alan continued to stray from the truth by vaguely suggesting that perhaps having his phone hacked and his identity stolen would give him a new perspective that would help him improve his work as a therapist. This statement only made Tracy more confused and puzzled about Alan's true motives. Why would someone like Alan, who seemed so cautious, say and act so strangely? Tracy discovered more suspicious signs as the conversation continued. Tracy continued to discover more suspicious signs. When she noticed a notification on Alan's phone that the remote had been removed and the gassing had stopped, she became even more confused. This was clearly an unusual change in the phone system, and Tracy couldn't help but worry about what it might mean. Tracy's feelings of not being able to trust Alan grew stronger. She began to wonder what Alan might be hiding, and whether he was really who she thought he was. However, instead of addressing the issue head-on, Alan began to get angry, yelling at Tracy for her curiosity. He thought she was making things more complicated and making things tense. However, right after yelling at Tracy, Alan apologized, explaining that he was just feeling stressed and tired. This only made Tracy doubt his honesty even more. The tense relationship and the unexpected proposal. When Alan noticed that Tracy was still doubtful and continued to ask difficult questions, he decided to change the subject, taking the conversation in another direction. Our life together, Alan said, is the most important thing. This is what we need to worry about. Alan's statement seemed like an attempt to ease the tension and make Tracy forget about her doubts. However, Tracy did not let things go so easily. She decided to bring up another important topic: wedding. Tracy, although still confused about Alan's strange actions, mentioned the possibility of their wedding. She gave a few options, and one of them was Paris, a romantic place where they could have a wedding. This got Alan thinking. He began to feel that maybe things would be better if they started a new beginning somewhere far away. The suggestion of going to Paris seemed like a way for Alan to try and ease the tension in the relationship, but Tracy still couldn't quell her doubts. When Tracy mentions Paris, Alan immediately responds with excitement. He thinks it's a great opportunity for them to start over, and maybe also a time to look at some locations for their wedding. However, while it seems like a step forward in their relationship, Tracy can't help but wonder if this is Alan's way of avoiding the bigger issues he's facing. Is running away to a romantic city like Paris Alan's way of hiding the truth, rather than dealing with the doubts and secrets Tracy has uncovered?